Welcome to the next video in the I Just Did a Thing series, where I'm going to show you how to tap into your creativity so that you never run out of content ideas again. I'm Penny, and I'm the developer of the Create Your Business monthly content development program, and I'm also your guide through this whole process. And I'm going to be teaching you about the science of why tapping into your creativity can help you build your business online. And if you like this content about creativity and learning how it affects and helps your content marketing plans, I'd love to see you hit that subscribe button to this channel. Because here's the thing. It's more than just understanding how to create better content. It's about understanding that success with your business isn't going to happen to you. It's going to happen because of you and the choices that you make. So let's jump right back into the book. I'm on chapter 6 right now, the second part of it, how to disrupt the pattern. And I want to start with this quote. The creative process is not like a situation where you get struck by a single lightning bolt. You have ongoing discoveries, and there's ongoing creative revelations. Yes, it's really helpful to be marching towards a specific destination, but along the way, you must allow yourself room for ideas to blossom, take root, and to grow. That was from Carlton Cuse. And I want to jump into that a little bit more, especially when we start talking about this disrupting the pattern and how it works. Because when you first started learning about this process, I shared with you that when you decide to make a change in your marketing plans and your business and your life, you really have two choices. You can either go into autopilot and do the same thing that you've always done, or you can disrupt your patterns by thinking differently within that part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, that part that's right there back there behind your forehead. That's where your prefrontal cortex is. That's the part of the brain that does decision making and planning and helps you sort through things like that. So when we talk about disrupting the pattern and the things that we're going to be doing today and the things I'm going to be sharing with you today, especially when it comes to habits, this is the part of your brain that I'm referring to that we're going to be making some changes to. The prefrontal cortex, that's right there behind your I guess your eyebrows is that the best way to put it. And I always talk about this in the sense of, you know how like when you're thinking about something so hard, you go like, oh my God, my brain hurts. This really hurts. That's your prefrontal cortex. It's probably telling you, ow, this really does hurt. So this is the part of the brain that we're going to be talking about today and talking about how you're going to, change your habits and move past the place that you've always been into a new place where you're going to find yourself harnessing what I refer to as your creative problem-solving skills. Because when it comes to putting these creative problem-solving skills, I want you to think about it this way. If we're going to break ourselves out of autopilot, I want you to think about how you can do something opposite of what you normally would do. Now, what I mean by opposite, I am not in any way saying that I want you to be hurtful towards anybody or anything. Because if your gut instinct is to respond in kind, in a genuine way, going against your internal emotions to be rude and disrespectful, that's not the path I'm talking about. That's not what's going to move you in those neural pathways throughout your prefrontal cortex and what's going on in your brain to help you develop, your creativity and tapping into that creativity to help you create these better content ideas. When I say do the opposite, what I'm referring to is going against your autopilot actions. So if you're doing, here's an example here. Let me think about this. You can think about it like this. So when you're doing one of the creative exercises and an idea comes to you, like you want to create a video to teach your potential new customer something that you're going to solve a problem, I'm encouraging you to explore this idea, especially if you're that person who just spent 10 minutes thinking through how you're going to set up your stuff to clearly explain the solution that you're going to do in the video. But then you're also that person who just spent the next 30 minutes talking yourself out of all the reasons that you're just not one of those people who does videos. If that amazing idea came to you in the stillness of your creative energy, I want you to call on your inner strength and don't let those inner thoughts talk you out of all of the reason that your comfort zone would want you to follow. For you to be open to these innovative ideas, for you to make this shift with your content marketing, you need to learn how to disrupt your pattern and disrupt specifically your habits and your habitual patterns. And being creative, let me tell you, folks, is one of the best ways that you'll be able to think differently. And it's going to allow you to come up with fresh ideas and things that you've probably never even thought about before. So let me give you some suggestions, recommendations, things that you could be doing to help you disrupt your pattern when you're using this creative energy. The first thing that I want to share with you is this. When you spend more time in your creative space, you'll come up with more original ideas that will get you closer to the best solution of something that's going to work for you and your business. When you do typical brainstorming techniques, you just list out something and you're just like, okay, doing a brain dump and that works there. I guess I'll do that, or maybe I won't do that. You end up with maybe like one or two really great ideas, but with a small list of options, you kind of limit yourself. And there's a good chance you're going to spend more time trying to figure out how to make these things fit into your plan with these limited options, rather than seeing that it's just not working for you and the desired goal of what you're trying to do with your business, whether you're trying to get more leads, whether you're trying to grow your email list, whether you're trying to generate more website traffic. This creative problem solving stuff that I'm talking about, these skills, it allows you to come up with more than just a couple of options. Because when you work with this creative problem solving process, you uncover so many more options that you could try and that you could look at, and that could be an opportunity for you to do something different and differentiate yourself online. Granted, I get it. Not all of these ideas are going to work for you, especially if you're trying to shift your business, but one or more of them combined could be more in line with what's going to solve where you're trying to go and what the goals are that you're trying to reach. The second thing I want you to understand is this. There is no way for you to force your creative energy to work. It's just not possible. Your most amazing ideas will come to you as a creative breakthrough and will happen spontaneously as you're engaging in your creative activities. The more you engage in creative activities like gardening or cooking or painting or taking your dog for a walk to a new park, the more you allow your brain to stay open to these new thoughts. The more you remove yourself from staying in your autopilot habits and find time to disrupt these patterns, the more often you're going to experience a creative breakthrough. So while there's no way for you to force this creative energy to work, you can help it along by ensuring that you are spending time doing something creative every single week. And the third thing I want to bring up here, and this is a really important piece here, so listen very closely. The third thing, I want you to think about how you can give yourself as much time as you can. And I get it. Sometimes you don't have a lot of time and you need to act on something immediately. But for most of the things in your content marketing plan, for most of the things that are going on with your business, you have the time that you want. It's your business. It's your choices that you're sorting through. So I want you to give yourself all the days that you can think through your ideas and your options. The more time that you have and the less pressure you put on yourself, the greater the chance of uncovering that optimal solution for your next step forward, for the next promotion idea, for the next content plan that you want to put together, for the next workshop that you want to do, the next video series you want to do, the next, fill in the blank of the things that you're looking to do. But notice I said days, not weeks, or worse, years. This step right here isn't a reason for you to procrastinate and making the next step because, I'm giving myself space to work this thing through. There's a difference between space to work this thing through and procrastinating. So I want you to take the time that you need, but don't give yourself permission to decide not to take your next step. I want you to use this time and use it wisely. And if you're still struggling, you don't know where you're going to be doing and what you're going to do, spend some more time in that creative energy. Spend some more time opening up that right side of your brain and allowing those thoughts or allowing the content to flow and the opportunities and the ideas. Give yourself that space. Don't think that I have to figure something out in the next hour or my whole content plan is going to be destroyed. It doesn't work like that. Give yourself the space. Sometimes I like to give myself, when I'm planning my content for the like an entire content weekend, where I come to it when I leave all of my stuff out, and I just kind of come back and forth and back and forth, in between doing some sort of creative activity, walking my dog, painting a picture, or whatever it is that I'm choosing to do at that time. Give yourself the space. But like I said, make sure that you're not using this as an excuse to procrastinate and not take the next step. Just because you're afraid, because you're concerned about what are people going to think if I show up on a video. Allow yourself to mentally work through all of those what ifs, but still find the time at the end of it to figure out what the choices, the options, and the opportunities are going to be, and take that next step. Okay. And then the fourth thing that I want you to do when it comes to disrupting your patterns is practice being persistent. Practicing persistence requires you to stay focused on your goal, even when life becomes challenging. That's a really important piece right there. So I'm going to repeat that again. Practicing persistence requires you to stay focused on your goal, even when your life becomes challenging. Because making this big change in the way that you do your content development and the way that you are working in your business, I guess you could even say that, it's not going to happen overnight. Just like, I don't know, like winning the lottery isn't suddenly going to make you some sort of financial investment genius. It's not going to happen. You need time. You need that time to research the information, time to learn the new technology, time to make new connections about who maybe can help you reach your goal. Persistence means accepting that your progress will take time. But it also requires you to be consistent with the daily actions to keep training your brain and your body to move into the new solutions that you're seeking. And one of the best ways that you can practice being persistent is to learn how to do something called stacking your habits. If you are not familiar with the book Atomic Habits by the author James Clear, I highly recommend this book. This is going to be a game changer for you. But one of the things that I wanted to bring up with regards to this book was this. He talks about this thing called stacking your habits. And let me explain to you how that works. It's a productivity step is really what it is. That's what the book is about. It's about being much more productive with your day and your time and your business. So this productivity step actually will turn a behavior into a habit with something called a trigger. And the trigger is an action that you're already doing. It's something that's already a part of your day, like checking your email at a certain time of day, logging into your social media sites at a certain point a day. That's what the trigger. The trigger is something that you're already doing. So what you're doing with this trigger is you're taking one of your current habits that you've already built into your day, and you're using this as a trigger for your new action. So you get that? So I'm doing this action, and then it's a trigger. So that way I know, okay, bing, my little brain goes off. I need to do this next step. So let me give you an example here. Let's say that you are trying to grow your business on Facebook. So one of the things that you've decided to do is you're like, okay, I want to use Facebook to connect to more customers. I've seen all these other people talking about it, and I've been following them. I've been watching the videos. I'm learning how to do this. I just need to figure out a way to add this into my week, add this into my time. So for you to do that, I want you to set this thing up as a trigger and start stacking these habits. Okay, so let's talk about like this. So let's say you've already had this habit of logging into Facebook like around lunchtime. And this is what you do. You log in around lunchtime and you eat your lunch by you kind of just scrolling through with your family and your friends, and you're liking things and commenting. So you're already in Facebook at this point, right around lunchtime. It's a thing you're already doing. So if you want to grow your customers by increasing your engagement, that's the trigger. So let's say you want to increase your engagement and you've got a Facebook group that you manage. So when you're logging into that Facebook app, that's your trigger. You're scrolling through friends, family. But now that you've logged into Facebook, I want you to add the new habit. Remember, stacking the habits. So you're going to add this new habit. So after you check on what's going on with your friends, then you head over to your Facebook group and you say, okay, I'm going to give myself 20 minutes to spend time posting, and I'm going to be commenting on the other members' posts. This is my new habit. So if my habit, the trigger, is logging in at lunchtime to see my family and my friends, my next habit, which I'm stacking, is going to be going into Facebook for 20 minutes to spend some time commenting and engaging with potential customers there. So when you start out with this process, your existing habit, which is the lunchtime login, is the trigger. Until one day, and the more times you do this, and this is exactly what's going to happen, I can assure you, you're going to go, oh my God, she was right. This really did happen. But this is what's going to happen. You're going to be logging into Facebook, and it's going to become maybe 15 minutes checking in with your family and your friends. And then you'll just immediately go over to your Facebook group. It becomes second nature to do these two things in a row. You're like, okay, I'm in there. I've scrolled through, straight to the Facebook group. You don't even think about it. It becomes automatic and second nature. It now becomes a habit. And when you've gotten into the routine to stack these two social media habits, that's when you can start adding in a third. That's why we talk about stacking habits. So if maybe the goal with the Facebook marketing is also to increase your connections by going to other Facebook groups, other people's groups, and you just want to make sure that you're out there networking and that you're, making new friends and that you're, having conversations and you're commenting. So now when you log into Facebook, you've got a stack of 3 habits. The first thing you do, you're checking on your family and friends. Then you flip over to post in your own Facebook group that you manage. You make sure, is there any questions? Is there anything going on that you want to contribute to? Do you want to add something? You want to, engage with people in your community a little bit more. And then you start commenting in maybe, 2 other Facebook groups. So each Facebook habit acts as a trigger to do the next one until it becomes a part of your daily or your weekly habit to do all 3 of these habits together to grow your Facebook presence. So do you see what I meant? When you find something that you're already doing, that becomes the trigger. That becomes the thing that you've already started. And so it makes it easier for you to stack these habits, to add more. While you're already in Facebook, I'll go ahead and, do some work into my own Facebook group. And then since I'm starting to do Facebook groups, you know what I'm going to do? Then I'm going to add another habit of going into other people's Facebook groups. So I could be networking and I could be researching and I could be learning more things and, whatever it is that you do in your Facebook groups. We all have different things that we're doing there to help us with our marketing. So do you see how that could help you not just get more done and be productive, but it allows you more opportunities to practice being persistent? Because remember what I'd said, practicing persistence requires you to stay focused on what you're doing, even when life becomes challenging. So even if life is going on around you, even if business is going on around you, this is what I'm doing on Facebook. And you keep going and you keep going and you keep going. Being consistent and being there is what's going to help you. I always say it works when you work it. So if that's what your goal is, and you could use the same trigger and the same ideas when it comes to Instagram, when it comes to LinkedIn, when it comes to TikTok, videos, creating videos on YouTube or whatever it is that you're doing. There's a way that you could find the trigger and then add the habits to each one of these. And I want you to think about this too. Think about what your goal is and where your triggers are and how you can stack these habits so that you can start doing more and being consistent and being persistent with the marketing work that you're doing. So think about the new habits you want to bring into your life and how they're going to make a big change in your content marketing plan. And see how when you can set up one action as a trigger and all the other steps that you'll bring in to stack your habits are definitely going to help you move closer to any of your marketing goals. So thank you so much for joining me today on this creative journey. If you've enjoyed this content about creativity, I hope that you'll consider subscribing to this channel. And if you'd like to get your own copy of my book, I Just Did a Thing, the link is below, and you can learn more about my creative approach to pivoting, and you'll get to experience the creative activities to help you think out of the box when it comes to your content marketing. You are magnificent, my friend, and let me be the first to say, I'm proud of you. Until next time.